Welcome to Tai Chi sequence number 1. This is a beginning sequence consisting of warming up, strengthening our sense of balance, strengthening our sense of posture, and introducing movement, which is going to raise our levels of circulation and begin the process of training. Stand with the feet at hip distance. Try to get the feet parallel if you can, but it's all right if the toes have to turn out a little bit. The main idea is to be comfortable in the position, to be relaxed. The knees should be unlocked, but not deliberately bent. Right? So if you're not sure what this means, lock your knees, stiffen the leg, and then relax the leg so that the knees are unlocked. And that's where you want to be. Bring the head up so that it's level. Relax the arms, relax the shoulders. Take a deep breath, extending the arms upward as we do it. And lengthen the entire body from the bottoms of the feet up through the tips of the fingers. And then release. Try again. Deep breath as we extend. Now breathe rhythmically as we begin to work. First, turn the body slowly in one direction. Be very conscious of the feet. Don't let them slip or lift. Now release to center and then turn the opposite way. Again, being mindful of the feet. Return to center and release the arms. Let's try it again. Inhale, extend. Exhale here if you need it. Then inhale and turn. Exhale, release to center. Inhale, turn the opposite way. Exhale, return to center, release the arms. Now, check in with the legs, be sure the knees are relaxed, shoulders and arms are relaxed, and begin to gently turn the hip from side to side. As we turn the hip, we want to connect to our center of balance, which is located in the hip. So think of this as a manipulation of the center of balance. As we rotate, we stay very relaxed throughout the entire body, the arms hanging loose and swinging freely with the movement. Now you have two options with the head. As we turn, we can allow the head to turn with the body so that the eyes are sweeping the room. The second option is to keep the head centered, focus on a point out in front of the body, and allow the body to turn underneath while the head remains stationary and the eyes remain focused on a point. This puts a little twist in the spine, whereas when the head turns with the body, the spine is neutral. As we turn from side to side, take care that as we turn, we don't lean. So I'll show you from the side. As I turn the hip, sometimes we'll tend to tip the posture a little bit like this. So as we're working, we want to be conscious of the midline of the body. And as we turn, stay centered on that midline. Keep working. If you're working along with me, just keep the pattern going unless you need to stop and rest. Now, an additional point has to do with how far we turn the body in each direction. And for that, we need to be conscious of the relationship between the shoulder and the hip joint. So again, from the side, the objective is to keep the shoulder in line with the hip socket as we move. If, as I turn, I push the shoulder beyond the hip, then I'm introducing a pretty strong twist into my spine. For the purposes of this movement, we don't want to do that. So feel the shoulder in line with the hip, and only go as far to each side as you can without adding an additional turn in the upper body. Now this movement is the basis for many of the other movements that we perform in our Tai Chi practice. And that's why we spend extra time looking at the detail and becoming comfortable with the movement in our bodies. Now bring it to rest. Readjust the feet to hip distance. And now, thinking of your center, begin to shift the weight round in a circle. Think of the movement as a swaying motion from the ankle joint. Feel the weight shifting from one leg to the other. Feel the weight shifting toward the heels, toward the balls of the feet as we come around in the circle. Keep the knees relaxed. Try to keep the head centered. Breathe normally. This is one of the basics for balance control. For balance control, we need to be able to maintain posture, and we need to be able to shift the weight from one leg to the other. The shifting of weight is also the gateway to all of our stepping patterns, because in order to step normally, we also need to be able to shift the weight from one leg to the other. After several repetitions, reverse your direction. Keep the movement at a slow to moderate pace so we have lots of time to process the information that we're gathering through our senses. Try to keep the head in line with the hips so that the back stays straight as we move. In contrast to that, if I didn't keep the head in line with the hip, it would look like this, which is not wrong. This is a different pattern and a very important pattern for balance control. But for our purposes, we want to see if we can maintain a nice strong alignment between head and hip. Reverse it again. You can change direction anytime you feel like it. And it's a good idea to do that several times. Do it clockwise, then work counterclockwise. Now, as we feel the flow of the circle, then our next pattern is to take our circular movement and see if we can transform it into a figure 8 pattern. So I'm using the hip as my guide, and I'm feeling the hip move through a figure 8 shape. So I'm essentially drawing the shape of a figure 8 on the floor by moving the hip around. Once again, feel the weight shifting. Keep the shoulders relaxed, the head level. Breathe normally. And take your time. All these movements should be soothing. When the breath is regular, when the body is relaxed, when the movement flows gently, we begin to relax, our minds become quiet, and the levels of stress start to fall. Now return to the center, adjust your feet if they need adjusting. Again, moving back to hip distance. The next pattern is a weight shifting exercise that incorporates a turning motion. So this time, we're going to bring the weight to the left leg, turn the right foot out, rock forward. As we rock back, straighten the right foot, then shift the weight to the right, turn the left foot out, rock forward, rock back, straighten the foot, and continue the pattern. Now, as we shift the weight, the only part of the foot that we lift is the ball of the foot. So both heels stay in contact with the ground. One of the keys to this movement is to be very conscious of the weight moving to the support side before I turn the opposite side in any direction. We describe this quality in the body as a quality of lightness in the turning foot and heaviness in the supporting side of the body. So we think of it as a contrast. One side of the body becomes light and mobile as the other side of the body becomes supportive, and it grounds us. As we turn and bend the knee, try to pay attention to the position of the knee and how far forward it bends. So as the knee bends, try to allow it to track along the midline of the foot. And as the knee bends, try to avoid pushing it beyond the toes. So I don't want to habitually push that knee way up in front of the toe like this, but rather as I come forward, just to the toe, the edge of the toe line, and then back off and go to the other side. Alignment is important in these movements because we need to keep the stress levels low. We're going to do a lot of repetition if you continue to practice. So we have to be careful that we don't begin to set up repetitive stress patterns in our bodies. This is supposed to strengthen us, not weaken us. Work at a pace that ensures that you feel safe and comfortable in the movement. It's not necessary to try to stay with my pace. Use me as a basic template for the movement, but then look inside of yourself and try to discover how you relate to the movement. What is natural for your body? Because that's all that matters. Don't try to copy my rhythm or the particulars of my movement, but get the sense of it and then make it your own. Returning to center, pause for a moment, adjust the feet again to hip distance. And now we're going to, once again, work with the hip. This time we're going to shift the hip toward one foot and then toward the other. And notice that as the hip shifts, the upper body tips in the opposite direction. The important element in this movement is to try to move from the hip. Feel the action originating in the hip, and the tipping of the upper body is a consequence of that action. As opposed to something like this, where I'm tipping the upper body, but I'm not moving the hip. So repeating, I want the movement to come from the hip, and I want to feel the shifting of the hip as the primary action, and the tipping of the body as a consequence. Return to center, extend the arms overhead. Now try to keep a consistent distance between your palms and then repeat the shift of the hip. And as the hip is shifting, notice how the arms swing quite freely, especially out of the tips of the fingers. And we describe this as an amplification. The movement of the hip is amplified as it moves outward toward the extremity, there at the tips of the fingers. Throughout the movement, I'm trying to keep my body in the same plane of motion. Sometimes what will happen, especially with this variation, as we tip, we tend to rotate. So we want to try to avoid that rotation. If you have a hard time with that, do it up against a wall until you feel the alignment in the movement and you're able to maintain a consistent plane of motion. Turn to center, release the arms. Now bring the palms together on the midline. The hands are flat, not interlaced. Right? So just a flat pressure between the two hands. Then roll the fingers toward the chest, and provided you're able to roll the fingers over without the shoulders becoming very tense, push away from the body, allow the palms to spread slightly. Bring it back in, roll it over, and push away again. Now each time we push away, bend the knees a little bit. So we set up a pattern. Dropping, rising, dropping, rising. Throughout the movement, keep the back straight. Try to keep the head level. Keep going. Continue to work, and let me show you from the side. So as I'm working, I'm pushing away. You notice I'm keeping my back straight. As my hands come forward here, you notice the fingertips point upward, and I drop the heel of the hand. That's an excellent exercise in balance control and also stabilizing the body by learning to lower our center of balance as we stress the balance by doing something like throwing the arms around in space. Now moving into the shoulders. Gently lift the shoulders, roll back, release. Then draw the shoulders upward again, roll forward and release. Continue this pattern of lifting, rolling forward, release, lift, roll back, release. Feel the tension that it takes to draw the shoulders upward, and feel the release of tension by sensing the weight of the shoulders as they drop. Keep the knees relaxed and the hips relaxed, arms relaxed, so your body will shift a little bit in space. Be conscious all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. As we work, and I'll show you from the side, maintain a slight lift in the breastbone. And that will help to maintain a nice, strong, upright posture as we work. Next pattern. Bring both arms up and cross one arm over the top of the other. And then keeping the hands at about shoulder line, bring the elbows around, keeping them bent, as though we're trying to touch the elbows together behind the back. And then as we come around to the front, just reverse the top and bottom hand. Now as the arms come around, bend the knees. So once again, we're rising and sinking as we work. Expanding the chest, working on stabilizing our balance by lowering the hip. As we practice, maintain a vertical posture. Feel the back side of the hip dropping toward the floor. Do you feel weight dropping through the heels? Do you feel contact through the balls of the feet? Are the hands remaining at shoulder level? Notice that there's been a progression in our practice from the ground upward toward the head. Our final set of patterns involves movement in the head. Begin by turning the head, looking to the left, and looking to the right. As we turn the head, make sure that we allow the eyes to focus on a specific point before we turn and look the other way. So we want to engage the visual system. The rest of the body stays as neutral as possible. Bring the head on center, and now tip the head. Look at the ceiling, look at the floor. Notice if there's tension forming in the hands. Notice if the knees have locked. Try to soften the knees. Return to center and finish by tipping the head from side to side. As we tip the head, avoid tipping the posture.